Hey everyone, and welcome back to Tarik Talk. I'm your host, Tarik Mendes, and today I want to take you with me to one of my favorite places in the world, a place I'm always genuinely happy to return to. I was recently back at the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, and being there again felt like reconnecting with an old friend. You know those places that stay with you long after you leave? The Rijksmuseum is one of those places for me. Every visit feels familiar, but never the same. Amsterdam itself already puts you in a certain headspace. The pace of the city, the canals, the bikes moving quietly past you, it naturally slows you down. And the Rijksmuseum sits right in the middle of that rhythm. You don't just visit it, you arrive there. It feels intentional. Even before stepping inside, the building makes an impression. The scale, the architecture, the symmetry, it's grand but not intimidating. Once you walk through the entrance, there's this immediate shift. The outside world fades away, and suddenly you're in a space built for looking closely, for reflecting, for paying attention. One of the things I love most about the Rijksmuseum is how it holds history without feeling frozen. It's deeply rooted in Dutch history, but it doesn't feel distant or untouchable. The galleries are open, the lighting is calm, and the way the works are presented encourages you to slow down instead of rushing from room to room. Of course, there's that moment when you enter the Gallery of Honor. That long hallway pulls you forward, almost guiding you toward one of the most iconic paintings in history, Rembrandt's The Night Watch. No matter how many times you've seen it reproduced, nothing compares to standing in front of it. The scale is overwhelming, but it's the energy that really hits you. The movement, the tension, the way the figures seem to step into your space. It feels alive. Every time I see it, I notice something new. A hand gesture, a shadow, a face in the background that suddenly feels important. It reminds you that great art never stops revealing itself. But what really stayed with me during this visit weren't only the iconic works. It was the quieter moments throughout the museum, the smaller rooms, the objects that don't demand attention but reward it if you stop long enough. The Rijksmuseum does an incredible job of showing how art and everyday life are connected. You move from paintings to furniture, from decorative objects to historical artifacts, and you start to see how creativity exists beyond the canvas. Art isn't separate from life, it comes directly from it. As I moved through the museum, I found myself thinking about repetition across time, how themes like power, intimacy, labor, identity, and beauty keep showing up, century after century, artists responding to their own moment in history, and somehow still speaking directly to us now. What I appreciated about the current presentation is that the museum doesn't over-explain. The information is there if you want it, but it doesn't force a single interpretation. You're allowed to have your own response, your own emotional connection, and I think that's essential. There's a balance in the Rijksmuseum between the famous and the overlooked. You can spend time with the masterpieces, but you can also wander into a side gallery and unexpectedly connect with a small work that feels personal, almost private. I also love observing how people move through the space. Some visitors are quiet and reflective, others are excited, pointing things out to each other, and somehow it all works. The museum feels alive, shared, human. When I finally stepped back outside, I felt that familiar mix of inspiration and grounding, like I had traveled through time, but returned more present. Being back at one of my favorite museums in one of my favorite cities reminded me why places like this matter. The Rijksmuseum isn't just about Dutch history or famous paintings, it's about perspective, about seeing how the past shapes the present and how art continues to speak across generations. If you ever find yourself in Amsterdam, I really recommend giving yourself time there, not to rush, not to check things off a list, but to wander, to pause, and to let the space work on you. Outro. That's it for today's episode of Tarik Talk. Thank you for listening and for letting me share this moment with you. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe, share it with someone who loves art and travel, and stay tuned for more conversations and reflections from around the world. A new season is here, and I've got some incredible guests I can't wait to share with you. I'll also be dropping an art guide featuring some of my favorite galleries, museums, art fairs, and artists you should definitely check out. All episodes are now streaming visually on YouTube and Instagram and audibly on Amazon, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and all major streaming platforms. If you haven't already, make sure to follow and subscribe for more art adventures. Thank you to everyone who supported the podcast and to everyone listening in over 160 countries worldwide. To my new listeners and my day ones, I love you. Thank you for being part of this journey through art. Have a guest you think I should interview next? Drop their name in the comments. With hundreds of episodes recorded live in over 10 countries, catch up on previous guests while you wait for the new season to drop. Stay tuned. Ciao!